Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Hey, how are ya? I've been watching a lot of Jeffree Star makeup tutorials. Can't tell, but don't worry. Anyway, so what I want to do right now is just go over real briefly the chapter one PowerPoint because I just want to highlight a couple of things um, just so that you're aware because I really like this book, but not everything highlights how it would be in the real world or highlights more of the substance abuse stuff. So I'm just going to give you a little synopsis on it. So looking at the PowerPoint real quick, um, of course, this is being weird now. Sorry. Oh, I just shrunk myself. Okay, good. Um, so brief little history on, case management. All right, so let me just go here. In an ideal world, if you're working in a substance abuse setting, you will be working primarily as a clinician, and there would be someone separate that would do case management stuff. So, a case manager deals with a lot of referrals, a lot of connection with the client and other outside agencies or providers, and just really kind of helps with services. And they do a lot of follow up stuff. So, if you're predominantly just a case manager, you don't do a whole lot of clinical type stuff. However, more often than not, you will be a clinician and a case manager at the exact same time, which is actually what my day job is. I am a clinician, but more often than not, I'm actually dealing with a lot of referrals, contacting primary care doctors, reaching out to CSP workers. There's a lot of collateral stuff that you have to do. And even if we did have a case manager that could do a lot of that stuff, a big part of the job is actually connecting with the client's other providers, especially for safety purposes. If you have a client who's really not well and they're at a high risk of things like suicide or overdose or like a medical crisis, and heaven forbid something happens to them, one of the first things that people will look at is, did you connect with their other providers? Did you connect with their primary care doctor? Did their mental health therapist know that they were having suicidal thoughts? Did their psychiatrist know that they were abusing opiates on top of their benzos or their Suboxone or whatever it may be? So it's important to really know what your responsibility is, but also really know your liabilities, right? That's really important. What's your liability? And if you remember in the key terms, that was something that we talked about, right? With the 42 CFR Part 2, is a person a threat to themselves or others? So it's just something to really keep in mind. I'm not going to go through every single one of these slides. I just want to highlight the important things. So it shows what case management is. Sorry, it is 10 o'clock at night and I'm very tired and have two small children that like to keep me up at night. So slide number 4, it just highlights that one of the things that case management does is it takes a big assessment, right? It takes a full global assessment of the client and determines what are their needs, but also what are their strengths to help address those needs. What are concerns that you might have that might get in the way of those being able to achieve those needs or being able to utilize those strengths. And it's about really taking that stuff globally in a whole situation and really being able to provide for the client. There's a whole history on case management. Good to know. It's not quizzical. Don't worry about that. But it's just good to have in your brain. Okay. So fast forwarding to slide number 8, it refers to an individualized plan. Every client you have should have an individualized treatment plan, which means that even though all of your clients may have an addiction, every single one of them is going to have a completely different set of issues that they have to address. Okay. Each client should have a treatment plan for each specific issue that they have. So if they have a substance abuse disorder, that's one treatment plan. If they have a mental health disorder, that's treatment plan number 2. If they have a medical issue, treatment plan number 3. Legal involvement, that's 4. Family issues, that's 5. So you can meet with a client and on the first day already have 5 treatment plans going for you, right? And it doesn't mean that you have to have 7 goals that they have to achieve, but you have to have at least one clear goal and objective and intervention for each of those issues. And then as you address them and as you complete all those, and eventually you'll just have one treatment plan that you're going off of moving forward. But initially you have to address all of them. Okay. So if you're doing more case management type stuff, oh, sorry, I do this a lot. I apologize. And I'm not stopping a recording to address my yawn, so I apologize. So if you're dealing with case management stuff, it might be getting them involved with AA, helping them identify a sponsor, getting them involved with the community, developing sober supports, addressing any barriers that they might have, like feeling shy or social anxiety or things to that effect, okay? So for case management tasks, so assessing basically means you assess the client, right? You create a plan with them, you link them, right? And linking basically means connecting them with these other sources, and then you monitor. So every time you meet with a client, you say, hey, you're supposed to go to this appointment. Did you make it? How did you like them? What did they say? Did you follow up? Did you go to the meeting? Who did you meet? What did you see? Da 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 da. How did you feel? So monitoring is probably one of the more important ones out of all of this, because you can assess, you can plan, you can link all you want, but are they following through? Very often they don't. And we have to address why aren't they following through, because that might be a whole other treatment plan that you have to address. It could be a transportation issue. I'm sorry. It's been a very long day. It could be a transportation issue. It could be a money issue. It could be a social anxiety issue. They could be suffering from depression or some other, other things. Honestly, sometimes a big barrier is just people not knowing. They have misinformation. I don't want to go to a meeting. That's a cult. Bah. Well, no, it's not actually. If it were a cult, we would have shut that program down a long time ago. Seriously. Okay. So going forward, it references, assessing and things like that. So slide number 11 is actually really good, because what it does is it really just kind of highlights certain questions like, what is the problem? How did this problem come to be? How long has it been going on for? What other issues is going on in this person's life that could be exacerbating this issue? Excuse me. Thank you. Okay. And that's part of the assessment process. And what you'll do is especially when you're in the line of work, your brain is going to start churning when someone's talking about things. You're going to be like, okay, all right, they're saying they have this problem. Where did this come from? How is this happening? What's making this happen? Da, 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 da. And you don't even really have to ask them those questions. It's just as they're talking, you're able to start kind of putting these pieces together, right? Like bling, 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 bling. Like really, my brain makes that sound sometimes. Okay, so assessment needs. One piece of advice that I could give you all that you could even start using now, and I would encourage you to start using this now in your day-to-day. Asking people what it is that they need. So if you're dealing with a client, hey, you're here for services. I understand that you were forced to be here by whatever entity that is supervising you. All that aside, what can I do for you? Or so sorry. Or what is it that you need? What do you need to address in life? What do you need the most amount of help with? And let them guide you. But you can also do this in your day-to-day life. When you have people around you and they're like, bitch, 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 moan, moan, moan about life, ask them, how can I best help you? Or what do you need from me? And not in a what do you need? Really come out with the empathy, really come out with the understanding. What can I do to help you? How can I best help you? Because, and I'm going to put this out there too, this is important. When someone is doing a lot of talking, ask these 3 questions if you can. Do you want my advice? Do you want me to intervene? Or do you just want me to listen? More often than not, people just want you to listen. Like I just want to talk. I don't need your advice, what you did, right, wrong, whatever. It's more obnoxious than anything. Just listen. That's all you got to do. And a lot of times clients just need to be listened, and they just want to be heard, and actually say that to them, to say like, I totally hear you. I totally get it. And let them know that sounds really difficult to deal with. That sound like a pretty challenging day for you, or this seems like it's a big challenge, right? Validate, 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 validate. That's really important. Assessing the clients, there are some more questions. I want to go through this. Well, kind of addressed a lot of that stuff. So planning, okay. Don't worry about all the different types of agencies, resource, or whatever. Just know this. When you're planning something for a client, you got to make sure that it is measurable and that's attainable. Don't create treatment goals that they can't attend. If someone has social anxiety, don't tell them to go get a sponsor on their very first time they're ever going to AA. Don't do it, right? Just work with them, bear with them, and keep their strengths and their needs in mind. Okay. And also have a way to measure progress. So your ultimate goal might be for the client to participate at a meeting, but your initial goal might be just show up. Even if you don't stay the whole time, just go, stay for a little bit, and then leave, right? Or whatever it may be. So create little micro goals that will hopefully get you to the big goal in the long run. Okay. Linking. I didn't do this semester, but last semester, one of the things that I did was I had everybody, as part of their homework assignments, find referral sources to certain topics. So it's like, okay, find a mental health provider that's taking clients, or find a support group for battered women or something like that. I would highly recommend that anytime you get a good referral source, that you 100% absolutely keep some kind of track of it, like whether on index cards or something, because even if you go from one location to another or from one agency to another, you bring all that stuff with you. That stuff doesn't go away. All right. Because that's where referrals are going to come in. And I know a lot of people that I've worked with and have gotten me in and have been able to make really good referrals, or got my clients in quick because I do really good work with them. So case management is not therapy. Hold on. I'm doing stuff. Sorry. Okay, that was good. Okay, goodbye. I'm recording. Sorry. Husbands interfere everything. All right, so referrals. Oh, we just talked about that. Okay, so monitoring. So every time you meet with a client, be sure to follow up with them, monitor how did it go, what's working, what's not working, and be open to changing any of the stuff that's going on with them, or that has been part of their treatment plan, so that way they don't feel like they have to do something. Really take your lead from the client. Is this working? Is it not? And that is it. Ooh, I think I did actually pretty good. I'm under 15 minutes. Yay! All right, so that is chapter 1. Look forward to what you guys have going on. Yay! Sorry if I made any of you tired.